is this? Oh, hang on, folks. Breaking news, the pick is in. With the first pick in the 2023 first annual underrated podcast draft, the people of the world have selected Tanks and Tutties as the podcast that is the most undervalued. Woo! Clap it up for you, boys.
Congrats to you. Congrats to me. Congrats to us. Good work.
I just want to say congratulations to my co-host, Frankie. I just want to thank all of our loyal 8 listeners. It's been a really good almost year of podcasting. We're ready to get into this thing. So
that's crazy to say that it's almost been a year.
Almost, man. I should have saved that for when it's been a year, but I thought with the draft it'd be good.
We can run an award show.
We could just give ourselves every award.
The Tutties.
The Tutties.
The Tutties Awards.
Yeah. And the Tutty for the most undervalued podcast goes to Tanks and Tutties. Anyways, we're going to hit you guys with a recap, locks and long shots, a little bit of MLB, nothing crazy because don't really have much to talk about yet.
There's a couple. I have a couple crazy things in MLB, but.
Oh, okay, never mind. I take it back. Maybe I'm not watching enough MLB. Big NFL news. We've got our top 5 NFL draft busts of all time. We'll hit some Guess Who. And then Frankie's got roulette this week, and we will send you on your way to another weekend. This is episode 43, 9 more until the year mark. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. Friday I didn't do much. I just kind of stayed at home, had some drinks, played some Xbox. Saturday, though, I got out. My girlfriend and I, Paige and I, we went to IKEA. We were about... How far is that from you? It's probably only like 30 minutes from you.
Yeah, I think it's about 30, 40.
But Jake didn't want to come visit us, so we went to IKEA alone. We did some apartment shopping. We found a day bed for when Jake comes and visits us in Memphis that I think we're probably going to get soon. I got a couple small things. Went to the Container Store, which if you've never been to the Container Store, it's literally just a store of containers. And I'm not going to lie, I was actually impressed. I thought it was just going to be a boring store. No, it's kind of cool. There's some different stuff there that you never thought you'd need, but
all sorts of different containers.
Yeah, literally. Yep. Anyways, we just did some shopping Saturday. Got some new shoes for the first time in like 3 years. I used to be a big shoe person where I'd buy a new pair of shoes like every 6 months. Kind of laid back on that with college and everything. But I bought a new pair of shoes, a nice pair of Adidas shoes for, it was $65, originally $160, so I got a pretty good deal there, I would say. Then got some clothes for Florida when we go on our Florida trip, which will be nice. Got home, kind of chilled, watched a movie. Sunday, basically just sat on the couch and didn't do anything. I will say, this weekend I took a big break from sports betting and just watching sports in general. And it was weird. Saturday, I didn't know what was going on in the sports world. And I think I missed some pretty big stuff on Saturday. I think there was like some good NBA games, a couple good hockey games. Baseball was kind of going nuts. And I just did not know anything about it. It was weird. But yeah, I mean, that was how my weekend went. How was your weekend?
Mine was really good. Friday, went to my parents' house with Sid, my girlfriend. We are saying names now. She's already met them. Well, she's already met them, so it wasn't anything crazy. We just went over there so she could see the house.
Oh, I meant the saying names part. It's a big step.
Oh, yeah. But she got to meet all my parents' animals. My parents have 3 dogs and 2 cats, so it's kind of a little, what does Sid call it? The petting zoo. So that was cool. Hung out. What did we do after? I think we just came home and watched some hockey maybe. Or did we watch a movie? Doesn't matter. Just hung out. And then Saturday morning, my dad and mom came over to my house. I went and bought a lawnmower and put together my shed. Also got a new dishwasher because my dishwasher wasn't working. Pain in the ass to wash dishes. Big spending weekend. Yeah, well, the dishwasher was free on Facebook Marketplace. So get this. I'll run it through it. My dishwasher didn't drain properly. There was one in the house when I bought it, and it wouldn't drain. There was standing water. And I put it off. When I signed on the house, I incorporated this warranty where any of the appliances, if they were to shit out, I'd get a free one with a deductible, or they could work on it, right? So it turns out there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and I got a little bit lazy and put it off, and then my dad was like, dude, I could probably fix that. So he was going to fix it, and then my mom found a free one on Marketplace, and I was like, well, let's give it a shot. And it was this sweet old lady. She bought a brand new one. She's like, yeah, I wanted stainless steel to match the kitchen, and this one matched my fridge. And then when we were uninstalling the old dishwasher, I say we, it was mostly my dad. Shout out to Papa Tubbs. Handyman, can do it all. He was getting frustrated because something wasn't coming off properly, so he's like, I'm just going to cut it. And I'm like, whoa. We can't do that because what if this new one doesn't work? We hadn't tested it, or like, you can't just take her word, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, I'm going to sit here for hours if I don't just cut it. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll just buy a new one if it fucks up, whatever. So he cut it, we get it out, and then we had to go to Home Depot. He had to get a piece for the dishwasher. I bought a new shower head, a lawnmower, and some other miscellaneous things. The lawnmower's badass. Can't wait to use it on Thursday. Going to cut my grass for the first time. I'm so excited. I've got my white.
My lawn could use some mowing if you want to come mow mine as well.
I only charge you $50.
Mine's a small yard. I don't know if it's worth 50.
Well, I have to drive out there in my truck with a lawnmower.
That's true.
So I'm probably going to.
That's fine. I'll just have the people that do it normally that I don't pay for do it. So
there you go. But anyways, I'm excited to cut the grass on Thursday this week. I'm sure I'll have a recap of that on next week's episode. Yeah, so that was Saturday. Oh, and then I forgot the biggest part of Saturday. I went and saw Luke Combs at Ford Field. That was fucking awesome. It was so much fun. A little bit of a pain in the ass, though. So we got there, and you know how it is. Detroit traffic, ridiculous. An exit was backed up, so I tried to go around. It didn't work. Parking was $60. $60. So we walked to the stadium. Luckily, it wasn't raining. It rained the whole way there. And then I was like, this is going to suck. Nobody brought an umbrella. I was with 3 girls who are all dressed, not in rain gear. So I was like, I'm going to have to listen to them complain all night about being wet and blah, blah, blah. Just kidding. It's not that big of a deal. But anyways, got to the stadium. I also forgot to lock my truck, so I had to run back to my truck and lock it, then run back to them. But we got to the stadium, and the person who had the tickets on her phone bricked up, and it just locked. The time stayed the same, and she couldn't unlock it. She couldn't lock it. She couldn't reset it. Nothing. We're like, shit, we got to get these tickets. Because we got the tickets to get in. So we were in Ford Field, but we didn't know what seats we were, and it was obviously going to be sold out. So it's like you had to know your seats. So she had to call her brother to go to her house and get her dad's login info for the tickets. And it was just a big pain in the ass, but then we got to see Riley Green. He was awesome. Luke Combs was phenomenal. The only problem is that they don't tell you how hard it is to pee at these concerts. Dude, the lines were wrapped like a snake.
Well, and there's not like a good time to ridiculous. Leave and go pee in the middle of a concert. Time,
I thought I was being smart. I said, okay, in between Riley Green and Luke Combs, I'm going to pee so I can stay throughout all of Luke Combs. Guess what? So did every other person in attendance.
I was going to say, yeah.
So I went to the bathroom outside of our section. That was packed. I went downstairs. That was packed. And luckily I found this bathroom that had no line, and I got to pee. It was great. And then Luke Combs was awesome. Then didn't get home till like 2, so that kind of sucked. The drive home, I was exhausted. I was fighting to stay awake, but we got her done. Got everybody home safe. And then Sunday, I think I just went grocery shopping, made some food, and then I just watched some hockey the rest of the day. So that was my weekend. Man, my weekend recaps are just getting longer and longer. I'm just doing more on the weekends.
Mine are about to do that too, especially with getting ready to move. Actually, no, mine are probably going to do the opposite. It's just going to be, I packed.
Stories. Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
I think, especially with the actual move, I think you'll have some interesting stories.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
But let's get into the show. Locks and Longshots. So, my locks, I'm 30-22. Last week, we had the Stars money line against the Wild on Wednesday. That went well. I think they won 7-3. Easy money. No doubter. This week, we're taking the Bucks minus 11 on Wednesday against the Heat. I watched most of the Bucks game last night. They choked. and Jimmy Butler had to drop 56 points to win by, I think they won by 3, the Heat did, or 4. So
No,
my
it was
thinking
more
is
than that. It was like 7.
the Bucks are back at home. They're pissed off. Giannis looked good. Brook Lopez looks great. Drew Holiday is going to make up for his mistakes. They're going to cover in that game.
They won by 5, by the way.
There you go. But the fact that he had to drop 56 to win by 5, like, he has no help. He's not going to do that every game. And that leads me to my long shots pick. Hang on.
Okay.
My long shots were 15 and 33. Last week we had the Oilers minus 1.5 versus the Kings. They won 4-2. That hit. Rodgers, I don't know if you all remember, a while ago I said the Packers would not get a first for Aaron Rodgers. They technically got 2. So that's a loss. So broke even on the long shots last week. This week, we're taking the Bucks to win the series. Plus 125. I was talking to Frankie about it a little bit before we started recording. The Bucks are the best team in the NBA. I'm not saying they're going to win it all. They're down 3-1 right now. But Jimmy Butler had to drop 56 points to win by 5. If Jimmy Butler drops 30, guess what? They lose by 20. So give me them to win the series plus 125. I love it. They're in Milwaukee tomorrow, or, well, when you're listening to this tonight. They're going to win that. They just got to go to Miami, steal one. Once they come back home to Milwaukee for Game 7, it's over. Bucks moving on. Thank you, Wham Bam. Thank you, ma'am. What did you want to say?
So you said you watched most of that game last night. Did you happen to see Brooks' three-pointer that he banked in the fourth quarter?
I did.
And Jimmy was asking him if he called glass on it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was badass. I do think he got fouled, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways. So
I agree, he did get fouled. I'm a big time Brook guy. I love that there's this big fucker who's looks unathletic, and he's just launching threes. He had a couple clutch buckets down the stretch there too. Like, the Bucks are playing well. They had a couple of fuck ups at the end, and they'll be fine. I think they're gonna win the series. I think you have nothing to worry about.
So I'm currently scrolling through the box scores for all these games. Playoff Jimmy is real. I'm a little bit worried about that. He dropped 56 last night. He's dropped 35, 25, and 31 in the other games so far. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little worried about that. But outside of last night, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Game 1, Giannis got injured. We lost by 13. Game 2, we blew him out without Giannis. Mm-hmm. I know what you're going to say as soon as I finish this, but Game 3, no Giannis, got blown out. Game 4, Giannis is back. Jimmy drops 56.
I'm just saying, are the Bucks better without Giannis?
I knew you were going to say that.
They blew him out the first game he was gone. He's a ball hog. I'm just kidding. The Bucks are definitely a better team
I will say watching the end of last night's game, everything ran through Giannis when we were down by 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, you had Brook, who was leading the team in points last night. You had Grayson Allen, who can shoot threes. You have Drew and Chris, who can both shoot threes. Like, you have a decent three-point shooting team, and you're giving it to Giannis to drive the lane. I'm assuming to try and get an and one. I don't know. It was a sloppy game, but like you said, Jimmy had to drop 56 for them to win by 5. I'm a little bit worried, but not too bad. I am taking that Bucks to win the series for my long shot as well. I'll just jump into my long shots right away. I am taking that one as well because, like Jake said, if Giannis is fully healthy, the Bucks do get 2 games at home, including Game 7, if they get that far. All you got to do is really steal one on the road. And I don't know. The one thing I hate is the Heat are basically the 49ers of the NFL for me. Mm-hmm. Because it seems like the Bucks play the Heat every fucking year in the playoffs. And we struggle with them every single time. So I'm a little worried. But I'm still going to take the Bucks to win the series. I do have a couple outstanding long shots. I didn't have any that finished last week. So I'm 3-18 on long shots. But we have the Bucks versus Suns finals. So I'm basically doubling down on that. Corbin Carroll and Anthony Volpe to win the Rookie of the Year. Volpe does not look good on that one. Carroll doesn't look terrible. Angels, 90-plus wins, okay. And then Anthony Richardson, number 2 and number 4 overall, just trying to get one of those. For locks, I'm 10-7-1. Again, I didn't have anything cashed last week. Still have the Vegas Knights to win the series and under 4.5 quarterbacks taken in the first round open. This week, I'm going to take the Knights minus 2.5 in the series. That is minus 155. They are up 3-1 on the Jets right now. I watched a little bit of the game last night for the first time this series. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit shocked at the goaltending that we've had. I figured Jonathan Quick would have been our starter. I don't know if I'm missing something, if he's injured. He hasn't played a game yet this series. We've gone with Laurent Brosseau for all 4 games. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been great. Like a 90% save percentage, only 2.75 goals against, which isn't bad. But like he definitely wasn't our starter during the regular season, so I'm a little bit confused there. All we got to do is get one win to cash this, so I think the Knights get this. I think they actually go home for the next game. Game 5, I think, is in Vegas, so as long as we get the win in Vegas, we cash this one. So even though it is 155, I do like that one. So that's what I got this week.
Drinking the juice. He's drinking the juice.
I am drinking the juice.
The Knights look awesome. It doesn't matter if they put in net. I don't think Quick is hurt. I think they're just worried about his age.
I will say this
I think you
series,
could see him in a series clinching game.
I will say this series has been a little bit closer than the scores kind of have shown. Outside of game 1, like we lost game 1 5-1 blowout. Game 2 we won 5-2. I think 2 of those came as empty netters. Game 3 we won 5-4, and game 4 we won 4-2. Last night we had an empty netter to make it 4-2, and honestly the Jets had pressure the entire time. So I don't think Vegas is going to be able to win it all this year, but I think they should be able. I mean, if they don't get past the Jets, if they can't win one more game, it's embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know. It was a decent game from what I watched last night. I just don't know. Like, I haven't watched a ton of hockey this year, so I don't know if I trust the Knights to win it all this year. But maybe if they get up big in the series, the next series, then maybe I'll drop a future on them to win it all. But I don't love it, and I don't know enough about hockey, so
I would not take them to win it all because the East is too fucking good.
Well, the Bruins, yeah.
You got the Bruins. You've got the Leafs look electric right now. The Lightning still could be good if they somehow win that series. The Hurricanes look great. The Devils also. Like, that's the thing. All these series, whoever wins them, they all look great. But it begs the question, are they going to beat up on each other? And then when they get to the finals, the West is kind of fresh.
I'm going to ask my Snapchat AI who's going to win the NHL Stanley Cup and see if Snapchat AI can give me a future. Who is going to win this year's NHL Stanley Cup? They said, it's tough to say, I'm not a huge hockey fan, so I'm not sure who the top teams are this year. Are you rooting for anyone in particular? Well, that was no help. If you had to pick any team, who do you think would win? Tampa Bay. Oh, shit.
Oh, they're down 3-1. I wouldn't put a future on them.
They've been a strong team in recent years. Maybe they have a good shot at winning.
If they somehow get out of that series, maybe throw a future on them.
Okay.
All right, stop talking to your Snapchat sex robot. Let's get into some MLB because you have to lead the conversation because I watched no baseball last week.
Yeah, so we'll start it off with the Brewers. The Brewers had a good week. They swept the Mariners. I don't know if I talked about Garrett Mitchell last week being injured, but he might be done for the year with a labrum injury. Anyways, we swept the Mariners, and then we finally lost back-to-back games for the first time this year. That's the last team, mind you, to win back-to-back games. Would have never thought that.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the second game of the back-to-back games came at the hands of the Tigers.
That's right. They beat them last night.
So I didn't know if you had any words that you would like to add on that.
Not on last night's game. I didn't watch it. I always love to see them beat your team, though. The only thing I did want to bring up, and I think I see you have it on here, Erod was perfect through 6 2/3.
Not only that, he has now had, I believe it's 2 starts in a row that he has been very fucking good. I'm about to look up his stats right now because I know his last start was really good. And the one before that, I believe he went... Okay, so 3 starts now. He's gone 6 innings. Last start, he went 7 innings, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts, and got a no decision because they lost 2-1.
They lost both of his great starts. We have no offense.
Yeah, so the game before that, he went 8 innings with 4 hits and 10 strikeouts against the Guardians, gave up no runs, and got a no decision.
Mm-hmm.
In 8 innings, gave up no runs, and they lost 4-3.
Yeah, it's sad, dude. It's fucking sad.
And then the game before that, 6 innings. Oh, wait, he did get a win against the Guardians. Never mind.
They did win that game.
They did win that one. The game before that, 6 innings against Toronto, 7 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Not as good, but still against the Blue Jays. Didn't get a decision. They lost 4-3.
Lorenzen just had a good start, too, so it's like, ooh, is our pitching turning a curve? And Skubal isn't back yet. I don't know if he's going to pitch this year.
I think he had Tommy John, so I don't think he'll be back this year.
And then you got Mize, just had Tommy John. So, like, we could have had an awesome starting rotation this year. But injuries But I like what's happening. I like some of our additions from our new GM. I haven't learned his name yet because I haven't cared enough. I guess
Nick
that makes me a
Maton?
bad fan. I do like him. That dude's been raking.
Yeah, he has.
He should be your Dinger Tuesday pick for today. He hit one yesterday. He hit a 3-run home run yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Against
it's
the Brew Crew.
Yeah, but it's against Eric Lauer. I don't know. We'll see.
I
What
would
is the
never
park
bet
factor?
on a Tiger to hit a home run, but the
Park
last one I
factors,
picked, though,
it does look good. It's plus 7% for home runs today.
the last one I picked, didn't I pick Torque last time and he did? Or no, I think I talked you out of it and he ended up hitting one.
I don't remember. I know you told me Kyle Tucker and he hit one that day. So
I told you Kyle Tucker. I picked Bo Bichette. I hit 2 for you that day. I think you probably would have bet him anyways, except for Kyle Tucker. But anyways, enough about the Tigers. They're still a bad team, but they look like there could be some promise. Torque still doesn't look good, but Riley Green's been playing really well, so that's exciting, I guess.
yeah. So then I had the NL Central. The entire NL Central is flipped on its head. I don't know if you've looked at this lately. The Pirates are leading the NL Central currently. They're 16-7.
That's crazy.
The Brewers are second at 15-8. Then the Cubs at 12-9. The Cardinals are 9-14, and the Reds are 8-15. The Cardinals are almost the worst team in the NL Central right now. They're 1 game up on the Reds. And of all teams, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who, mind you, do not have O'Neal Cruz, are leading and 9 games over 500. Granted, it is only 23 games into the year. 24. 24 games into the year.
How fun would it be if the Pirates made the playoffs, though?
Well, and now today they just went out and signed Brian Reynolds to an 8-year extension after this dude requested a trade in the offseason because he didn't want to play for him. So not only do you have a team that's surprising everybody, they just locked up one of their 2 best players for 8 more years.
See, I just want to say something, though. They've won 7 in a row, but it was
They have
against
the
Reds and
longest active
Rockies.
win streak.
Reds and Rockies, though.
Yeah, was it in Colorado?
Yes.
See, now that's different. The Rockies in Colorado versus the Rockies on the road are 2 completely different teams.
I'm not trying to take anything away from them. Pirates are fun. I always root for the underdogs, especially it's
They are fun.
Tigers
I'm
fan,
not going to lie.
and a Red Wings fan. And a
I
Lions
thought that they would
and a
be
Pistons
a
fan.
little bit a little bit frisky this year. I didn't expect this level of frisky. I didn't expect them competing. Mm-hmm. But I figured they would be a little bit fun. And this is like a whole new level of interesting for the Pirates. So happy for them. Then you have Reg's Orioles. Not sure if Reg is still listening. But Reg's Orioles are
fake.
I mean, yeah, I do too.
I think it's safe to say that Reg was fake. I thought he could be real for a little bit, but
yeah, I think he's fake too. But his Orioles are 14-7, and they are second in the AL East, which is absolutely loaded because not only do you have the 20-3 Rays,
yeah,
you have the 14-9 Blue Jays, the 13-10 Yankees, and the 12-12 Red Sox. And the Orioles just happen to be second of that group. Of all teams, the Orioles.
You know your division's loaded when last place is 500.
Yeah. The Orioles actually are also on a 7-game win streak. So the Orioles and the Pirates are the best teams in the MLB right now, behind the Rays. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a crazy start to the year, and it's cool to see some of these, especially like the Orioles are a very young team, and they're a fun team, and it's cool to watch them. Then you get teams like the Rays. They're 20-3, 14-0 on the road. They haven't lost on the road yet. Or they haven't lost at home yet. Sorry, they're 14-0 at home. Just, I don't know. It's been a crazy year. I like it. We had Adeloy Garcia go 5 for 5 this week. Did you hear about that?
I did not. I saw you put it on there. I didn't even know.
So I got to find the actual game log. I know he went 5 for 5. All of them were extra base hits. And I believe it was this game against the Royals. Let's look here. Nope, not this game. Maybe it was the next game. 12-2. Nope, not that game. I don't know, but he went 5 for 5. I can't find the exact game. There's been a lot of blowouts for the Rangers lately. It was probably this one. 18-3 against the A's. Yeah.
Yep.
So he went
a homer. He got hit by a pitch. Homer, double.
Yeah, and he had all of his homers before the fifth inning. He had his first home run in the first inning, his second home run in the third inning, and his third home run in the fifth inning. And then just decided, you know what, I'm just going to hit 2 more doubles real quick. 5 for 5, 8 RBIs, 3 home runs, just in a day's work.
He had 33 fantasy points that day. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, I mean, there's been some crazy things going on this week. Do you know? So I was looking at the league leaders in stats right now. So Luis Arias leads the league in batting average. Mind you, we are 20 however many games into the year. Mm-hmm. Guess what his batting average is right now?
I'm guessing it's very high. 424.
Close, 444.
Damn, dude. That's insane.
20 whatever games into the year, and he's almost hitting 500. And then, so Ronald Acuna leads the league in stolen bases. Guess how many stolen bases Ronald Acuna has?
11.
12.
Oh my God, my guesses are good right now.
Next closest is 9. This dude just back from a torn ACL like a year ago.
He's zooming.
Leading the league in stolen bases. Yeah, Ronald Acuna, one of the best players in the MLB right now. He's so exciting to watch. I saw something the other day about somebody saying that he's just a slap hitter. You're wrong.
Who said that?
It was on Twitter. Somebody was ranting to one of the CBS guys that I listen to, and they decided to say that Ronald Acuna is just a slap hitter.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How can you
You
ever played MLB The Show? Huh?
Literally.
He's the greatest player in the game.
Literally. Before we get into NFL, I think we should do who's who first. because we both have football players.
Okay. I'll go first. Look away while I move this. Let's see here.
Okay, go ahead.
Give you a little bit more. Oops. I hope you're not looking.
I'm not.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's do that. All right. Go ahead.
All right, so we have a football player. It's passing yards. There's 4 years. I feel like you're going to give me a college player since I did this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Spot
so
on
it is
so far.
Okay.
He had a 191 passer rating his senior
I
year.
was just about to say that. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a good
33 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He was a 4-year player too.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Let's go with... I'm just trying to think of who would have been 4-year players. Because you don't get a lot of studs that play for 4 years.
Correct. Normally they only play that 3 years.
They also played at 3 different schools, didn't they? Is that what I'm seeing at the bottom?
No, you're seeing, I don't know actually. Not 3 schools, I know that.
Let's go with Baker Mayfield, even though I know that's wrong, but
I think, what is that? So the bottom line is just his senior year stats.
yeah.
And then I think you got career stats and then something else. But let me show you a little bit more here. Let's go with, dun, dun, dun. All right, you're not looking, are you?
I'll look away. Okay, I'm off of it.
Okay. That doesn't really give you anything. Here you go. Oh, that'll give you too much. Hang on, let's see if I can do this. Don't look yet. Sorry for the listeners. This probably sucks. Here we go. Don't look yet. Okay, now you can. That might help a little bit.
4-year player from 2008 to 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they did play at 2 different schools, though. Because it's career and then 2 different stat lines.
That's what that is. Yep.
The senior year was a separate school. So they transferred after 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
11 games, 12 games, 13 games, and 14 games. They threw a lot.
So that means in his senior year,
3,100 yards.
he played in the conference championship and in a bowl game.
And a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to know who this is?
Yeah, 100%. If you don't get it here when I remove that black box, you'll have it instantly. I can give you a hint before you guess. He has had a very good NFL career, and he's still playing.
I feel like if I'm going to get it, it's going to be like a Wisconsin quarterback. Is that Russell Wilson?
It is. You are correct.
Damn.
Get rid of this here for you.
191. Yeah. 191 rating. Holy shit.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was that good his senior year.
That's the thing. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't realize he was that good.
Right. I wish it showed his win-loss. But they were pretty good in 2011, apparently.
All right. For mine, let's get rid of... I'm going to give you awards first, just so you can... The awards are kind of cut off, actually, so you're probably not going to get much from this, but...
All right, I got to get close to my screen here. So, he was the Rookie of the Year. Wait. This says AFL?
Yep.
So this is like old school.
Yes.
American Football League. Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. I'm not going to get this. MVP. What does that say at the MVP down there, the bottom one? What place did he come in for MVP?
3rd.
All right, I'm going to throw out AFL. I'm going to throw out Johnny Unitas.
No. I'm going to give you a lot here. Ready?
Yep. Oh, shit.
So I gave him all the stats.
Wow.
I gave him everything except for year, team, position, and number. And then I didn't give career stats.
He threw a lot.
Here, I'll give you career stats as well.
Okay. 12 years.
Played...
Wow. What's that 1 year at the bottom?
It's a separate team.
Last year. Oh, okay. I can't think old school like this. Who was a good quarterback back then that threw a lot that played before the NFL?
I think once I give you team and number, you'll get it.
I'm going to throw out... I really want to get it before I have the easy stuff. All right, I got to think. Old school quarterback. It's gotta
Led the league in passing
about.
yards 3 times.
Let's just throw out... I know this is wrong, but I'm just going to say Warren Moon.
No. Do you want years first?
Yeah, I'll look away. You give me years. I don't think that'll help because I'm already thinking like 50s, 40s, and 50s.
Good.
What does that say?
60s.
60s and 70s?
65 to 77.
Okay, that helps a little. Damn. So it could be Terry Bradshaw.
No.
Damn. All right, give me two.
All right, ready? So 11 years with the Jets.
Oh, it's Joe Namath.
Joe Namath.
That was, dude, low-key, that was going to be my first guess, but then I talked myself out of it because I thought it was older. Damn.
I gave you Joe Namath because...
Good segue.
Aaron Rodgers traded to the Jets. And Joe Namath gave Aaron Rodgers permission to wear number 12 for the Jets.
He said, no, fuck you.
And he turned it down, and he's going to wear his college number 8.
You know how dumb he's going to look as number 8?
I agree.
That's going to be dumb. I would have taken 12 all day.
Exactly. But, so Rodgers finally traded. This has been in the talks for literally like a month and a half. Packers and Jets are swapping first-round picks, so the Packers are moving up to 13. Jets are moving back to 15. Not a huge deal, but the Packers do get to move up. Jets are getting a 4th and... Oh, sorry. No, the Jets are getting, I believe, a 6th or a 5th and Rodgers, while the Packers get a 1st from the Jets, a 2nd, and a 4th.
Yeah, I wrote that wrong, sorry.
And then next year they get a 2nd round, but if Rodgers plays 65% or more of the snaps, it becomes a 1st. So basically, as long as Rodgers doesn't get hurt, the Packers are getting a 1st-round pick next year as well. You think that the Packers got fleeced?
Yes, but they didn't really have a choice. Rodgers takes the Jets to a level that is like they're playoff contenders, automatic. They're Super Bowl contenders with Rodgers. With that defense they have, the weapons, Rodgers. However, the Jets knew that that Rodgers didn't want to play for the Packers. So the Packers were the ones that held this up as long as they did because they probably wanted 2 guaranteed firsts. Maybe even 3 at one point. I think they should have gotten 3 firsts. Because what did the Seahawks get for Wilson? Wasn't it 2 or 3?
Oh,
they got at least 2.
I'm looking.
I mean, if the Seahawks got 2 for Russell Wilson, then Rodgers should have been easily worth 3. The Browns gave up 2 for a rapist, so...
This is true. All right, so the Russell Wilson trade. The Broncos have agreed to trade Drew Lock and Noah Fant and Shelby Harris 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 2022 5th for Wilson and a 2022 4th.
Yeah, see, the Seahawks got more for Russell Wilson than the Packers got for Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers. But, it's like I said, they didn't have a choice because Rodgers didn't want to play there. The Jets knew that. They knew they could kind of lowball. They were the only team really interested. and the Packers had to get something. So I think in some ways the Packers did well. They had to, but the Jets did better. Jets won the trade is what I'm trying to say.
So
but they only win the trade if they win a bowl.
I obviously am going to disagree with that.
Right.
Because I'm trying to find the tweet that saw it. At first, I kind of agreed. I thought that we didn't get enough, especially with it being a pick swap and not just a straight-up first-round pick. I wasn't really a fan of that. But when you look at it, the Packers got a first this year. They're going to get a first next year. They get rid of Rodgers, who didn't want to play for us anyways. Mm-hmm. We also dump most of his cap. We don't have to pay the $53 million or whatever that's on the cap for this year for him. And then we also get a second and a fourth for this year.
I feel like time will tell, obviously. And if Jordan Love is a decent quarterback, it will end up being a great trade. If Jordan Love sucks and he only plays 2 years and then he's gone and you're back to square one finding a quarterback, you're fucked and you lost the trade. Like, it's just going to be a wait and see kind of deal. But I think
I think it's at this point, yeah, I guess you could say it's hard to tell because it also kind of depends on what happens with the draft and what you turn those draft picks into.
Yep.
If the Packers go out and get Jordan Love some help and some receivers, maybe a couple offensive linemen, and he becomes a great quarterback, then yeah, it's a huge win then. Right now it looks good on paper. It's going to be hard to tell. I'm not mad at it. I do like the trade. I like that we got rid of Rodgers and we got some decent return for him. Do I think we could have gotten more? Yes. But at the end of the day, we still got the 2 firsts that we really wanted, and we got rid of most of his cap. So kind of a win-win.
Yeah, and you have a lot of options now. You can draft a receiver or you can draft more defensive help. You don't have to draft a receiver because DeAndre Hopkins did request the trade, or there was a rumor that he did. So go hit up the Cardinals, see what they want. Maybe use one of those firsts for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
It's all going to come down to if Jordan Love pans out. That's it.
Thoughts on what happens with Zach Wilson?
I think he's a career backup now for the rest of his life, which is not
he did say that if the Jets went out and got a quarterback, he would make their life a living hell.
Yeah, but guess what, bud? You're not going to make Rodgers life a living hell because he's so talented that there will never be a question of should we throw Zach in there.
Exactly. We also know that this means that Rodgers is going to be a Viking in 4 years.
yeah.
So
no, it's 2, isn't it?
Is it 2 years? I'm looking right now, and I just saw that come across.
He's skipping the whole retire first part.
Yes. You have to be happy that you're done with Rodgers in the North, though, right?
I am elated, and I'm very happy that we got to get him back before he was gone. We beat them twice. We kept them out of the playoffs. So I'm over the moon. The division's wide open now. The Vikings are regressing. The Bears are the Bears. And the Packers are a wild card right now. And I think it's the Lions' division to lose.
I love this.
You love what?
I just love seeing all of this joy and happiness coming from Lions fans just for Jordan Love to come shit on the entire division and prove everyone wrong.
That's why I said they're a wild card, because he sat behind Rodgers for 4 years. Like, he could come in and be fine. What I saw from him, I saw mediocre. So we'll see. But obviously, he's got a whole offseason to prepare to be the starter.
I could see this being a lot like the Favre to Rodgers transition, where the first year doesn't go so great, and then boom, all of a sudden the second year it's like, holy shit, we have a fucking beast as a quarterback. Right. And like, I don't know, it feels like now in the NFL you don't get a lot of rookies and like first year guys, or like guys that are starting for their first year. I feel like you don't get a lot of those where they come in and just light up the league. Usually takes them a year or two to fully develop into everything that's happening. My prediction was that the Packers go 9-8 and fight for a playoff spot. We'll see what happens with the draft, but currently that is my prediction.
Yeah, I think they could very easily finish in second. Their defense isn't great either. That's the other thing. If they had a decent defense,
you're that confident in the Lions finishing first.
Losing Jameson hurts, but I am fairly confident that the division is ours to lose.
Wow.
We're turning the corner. I mean, dude, we went 9-8 last year.
That's fair.
So I think it's ours. I think we're the most well-rounded team. I can't even say that though because our defense was so up and down last year. But we made additions. We got a whole nother draft here. We'll see. It's gonna be a we'll see, and it's
that's what I like about
Love is.
That's what I like about the Packers too. Is like outside of quarterback, we're a pretty veteran group. Like you look at running backs. I guess actually our offense is pretty young. But like running backs, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, they're going to carry a ton of the weight this year.
Yep.
Wide receivers are young, but between Dobbs and Watson, you have two guys that have, Watson obviously more than Dobbs, have proven themselves. And the Packers are now lined up to be 13 in the draft, which, rumor has it, we may get Njigba from Ohio State.
I think they need to go receiver for sure, and he would be a huge get.
So do I. And exactly. I've seen a lot of drafts out there. We don't have a tight end right now. I've seen a lot of drafts out there that have us taking Njigba as one. And then we take what's the tight end? The Notre Dame tight end?
I forget his name, but I've seen him everywhere.
Yeah, him early in the second, and then we start going defense, and then we grab another wide receiver late, and then we grab Washington from Georgia, the other tight end. And I was like, well, shit, I wouldn't hate that.
I think that's too much offense, though, because the defense needs help. But we'll see.
Our defense doesn't need a ton of help, though.
You need a linebacker who's not a scumbag piece of shit, that's for sure.
I don't know what you mean, but sure.
Anywho, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, does Jordan Love get to cook, or is it going to be Rodgers didn't do that. Like, is it going to be too big of a shadow, too big a shoe?
I think it's going to have to be a completely different offense because obviously Jordan Love's a little bit more mobile than Rodgers was. I mean, he's not a running quarterback, but he's also not just a guy that sits in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to have to be a completely different type of offense. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the Jordan Love era. Hopefully it pans out. But worst case scenario, we just go get Caleb Williams next year. So
there you go. All right, well, let's do the top 5 NFL draft busts of all time, and then we'll hit it with roulette. Send you on your way. My number 5, I'm going to start first instead of you this time. I put Blake Bortles. This one hurts. Okay. I'm a big Blake guy. He was drafted 3rd overall. He did take the Jags to the championship game.
Exactly. I don't know if you can call him a bust, but
that was big thanks to how good the defense was that year. If you look up his stats, he wasn't actually that good. And then after that year, he played on 4 different teams in 4 years. R.I.P. to the Blake of the year. He's number 5 on my list. Who do you got at 5?
I have Vince Young at number 5.
It's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, he was a stud in college, came to the NFL, and just didn't quite live up to it. He made 2 Pro Bowls, but, I mean, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns in his rookie year and just wasn't, I don't know, he was never amazing. Made the Pro Bowl twice, but does a Pro Bowl really mean anything in the NFL?
That's a big case of, no, absolutely not. And that's a big case of the hype was too big. The hype around that guy was crazy because how good he was at Texas.
Yep, I agree.
My number 4, I had Trent Richardson. He went 3rd overall as well. His rookie year, he looked really solid, but then he just slowly started busting. He was traded for a first-round pick. Huh?
He what? He slowly started what?
to bust.
Oh,
Oh, hey, yo.
interesting.
Anyways, so we got traded.
Didn't
and
know
they
you
got
were like that.
The Browns got a first from the Colts, and he sucked again, so it was a double bust. The rare double buster.
Yeah, I had him as an honorable mention. I didn't put him on my list, unfortunately.
Ooh.
I have some weird ones coming up here.
All right, you're number 4.
Number 4, I'm going Kevin White. He was drafted number 7 by the Bears. And just injuries and everything, he only played 17 games, started 5 of them, eventually became a free agent, and has been all over the league since then. Fun fact, to this day, he has still not caught a touchdown in the NFL.
Yeah, yep. And he's still rostered. I'm rooting for him. Good pick. My number 3 is Charles Rodgers. Do you know the name?
I keep seeing it on all these lists that I'm looking at, but I don't know who he is, which had to mean he was a big bust.
He was drafted 2nd overall by the Detroit Lions in 2003, I believe. Maybe 2. Don't quote me on that. He never played a single full season due to injuries and a drug problem. R.I.P. He did die of liver cancer. Yeah, he was just all I've ever heard from my dad is how bad he was. He went to MSU, and he was a stud in college. And then that was the Matt Millen era where he just took the best available, even though we didn't even need a receiver. And definite bust. Didn't play a full season, injuries and drugs. And then I also added here, will Jameson Williams be the next Charles Rodgers, minus the drug problem?
Ooh.
He replaced the drug problem with a gambling problem, maybe, but he's got the injuries down.
Now, this might be unfair to say, but what about what's his name with the Texans? Same draft class, wide receiver, cancer guy.
Oh, Mechie?
Yeah, John Mechie.
That's not fair. That's cancer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's probably not fair to say, but he was also a very high first-round draft pick, wasn't he?
No, I think he was drafted in the 2nd round. But we also didn't mention that the NFL last week suspended 5 players. Let me hit this real quick. The NFL last week suspended 5 players for gambling. The NFL rule is you can't bet on football. Obviously, some of them did, so they're suspended indefinitely. But I found out
R.I.P. Quintez Cephas.
Yep, so Quintez Cephas and
Badger
2 other
legend.
Lions players were suspended. Cephas and C.J. Moore got cut. The other guy I've never heard of, he'll probably get cut. But the 4th Lion was Jameson Williams, first-round pick last year. He was supposed to be a stud. But I'm kind of defending him a little bit here because he was betting on different sports, which you're allowed to do. But he placed the bet at a Lions facility, which it clearly says in his contract you're not allowed to do that. So he's suspended 6 games, and we'll see how that pans out. But maybe he'll come back a stud, but he's not going to have a first full season until 2024 at least. So who knows? You're number 3.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that gets weird. Last week, my number 3 was weird with the octopus, which I still think was a great pick. This week, my number 3, I'm going with a kicker.
What?
Robert Aguayo.
Yeah, okay.
He was picked in the 2nd round by the Bucks in 2016, which they actually traded up to be able to pick him because he set an NCAA record for accuracy in college. He ended up missing 9 field goals and 2 extra points his rookie year and was waived before his 2nd season.
That's a good pick. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either, and then I was scrolling through a list, and I was like, wow. Especially like trading up for a kicker in the 2nd round.
That's unheard of.
That's tough.
Kickers don't get drafted, and then you just took him in the 2nd round. You traded up for him. That's insane.
I mean, that's kind of what you get for. That's what you get for taking a kicker in the 2nd round. So
there you go. My number 2, I said John Ross. 9th overall.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. He basically moved his way up draft boards because he ran fast. He ran the fastest 40 ever, I think, or was it the 2nd fastest?
I know at the time it was the fastest.
I think it still is the fastest. I think he beat Chris Johnson. But he basically moved way up. He wasn't even supposed to be, I think he was projected 2nd round out of Washington.
People
Nothing
forget you
special.
have to
He's
have
really just
hands
fast.
to be able to be a wide receiver.
That's what I also put here. I said he moved up the draft because he was fast, but the Bengals forgot that you have to be able to catch the ball and also run routes to be good. So that one didn't work out. I think he's out of the league now. You're number 2.
My number 2, David Carr.
Good pick.
Not much to say. Just he didn't pan out, and he was selected like number 8 by the Texans, I think it was, in his draft. Just wasn't good.
Yeah, there's not much to say there. He was just bad.
I think it also. I think it also with David Carr. I think it makes it look worse because Derek Carr kind of has made himself like a player in the league, so it makes it look worse for his brother that he just didn't do anything.
Right. My number 1, I think yours will be the same because this is definitely the biggest bust of all time, Jamarcus Russell.
Yep.
Okay. He was taken first overall. There's so many stories about how he just didn't look over a playbook. He had terrible work ethic. He gained a bunch of weight and was out of the league so fast.
He got huge.
He never really got a second chance, but he didn't really deserve one. Like he showed that he had no effort. There was a story I saw one time of the coaches handing him an empty playbook, and they said, "Hey, look this over on the plane, and then we'll talk to you when you touch down." And then when they touched down, they're like, "So what'd you think?" And he goes, "Oh, it's good, man. It's good. I liked it. I looked over all the plays, blah, blah." It was an empty playbook, and he played himself. So
Yep.
that's easily number 1. Nothing else to say there. Biggest bust ever. Honorable mentions, we didn't say anything about Ryan Leaf. He was drafted high. He sucked. But kind of
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart, yep. Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Josh Rosen.
up. Yes.
I almost put
okay.
RG3 on the list.
I thought about that too, but the injury, I don't know if you can really call it a bust. And like he did have a good year.
That's the thing, is that he had good work ethic. He just got so fucked by injuries that I don't think you can call him a bust. You just call him really unlucky.
So the thing that makes, I wanted to point this out earlier, but the thing that makes the Jamarcus Russell draft worse is that Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Adrian Peterson, Ted Ginn Jr., and Marshawn Lynch, and Darrelle Revis were all on that list, drafted in the first round.
Yeah, it's just you had to take Russell.
I knew they needed a quarterback, but yeah.
Another one, I was going to say Manziel.
Yeah, I thought about that.
He was taken 22nd overall, so not really a high pick, so I didn't really classify him. Definitely a bust, but not one of the top 5 all time in my book.
I'm looking at what else this list has. Deion Jordan.
Don't even know that name.
Made one start for the Dolphins and was drafted 3rd overall as a defensive end.
Oh, shit.
Failed his physical with the Dolphins after 2016.
What about Ricky Williams?
Yeah.
When was he drafted, though? He was 5th overall. Ricky Williams.
This list has Mark Sanchez on there, and I don't think you can say Mark Sanchez. No, I guess you could because he was so good in college.
Oh, Ricky Williams actually had like a decent career. He's not really a bust. He just kind of went nuts. You ever watch that 30 for 30 about him?
No.
He got huge into drugs, and he like took a year away from the NFL and shit, and then came back and was like horrible, obviously. But
what about Jake Locker?
don't know enough about him to comment, but I do know he's up there.
So
Tennessee
this
Titan, right?
article, yep. This article says
Sweet name.
he was picked 8th overall in 2011, and he was projected as the top pick in the 2010 draft before he went back to Washington, and then he had a bad season with Washington. Started 23 seasons in 4 games and was eventually replaced by rookie Zach Mettenberger.
I remember Mettenberger. He had a sweet beard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, that's your top 5 busts. Be sure to watch the draft on Thursday. Hopefully the Lions take a wide receiver or cornerback.
Anthony Richardson, number 2 or number 4. Speaking of, who do you think goes 1-1 real quick? while I load up
1-1,
roulette.
I would say it's pretty safe to say it's Bryce Young. But I've been seeing a lot about Will Levis.
Yep.
Dude, I've seen so much about Will Levis telling his family. I saw some. This seemed fake. It was a Reddit post, but it was about how Will Levis is telling his family he's going to live in Carolina. But I think he is shot way up the draft board. I think he might even go at 2 over C.J. Stroud, which is mind-boggling to me.
I think he might be a bust.
Will Levis?
Especially if he's drafted 1-1.
I think so, too. I think if he's drafted 1-1, it'll go down as the dumbest decision ever. It'll be worse than... Because Will Levis, dude, he went to Kentucky, never won anything. Like,
exactly. Kentucky's not a big football school.
Nope.
All right. So your numbers are 0, 17, and 31. We just had 12 hit.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling a hit.
We're going to go $2 a number.
I'm about to call out something crazy.
31.
About to call it something crazy. We're hitting a lightning number today.
2. What are mine? 23 and
23 and 25.
Okay.
We're hitting a lightning number today. We're calling it out.
In.
Let's go. All right, here we go. The numbers are in, folks. Come on, give me a good lightning number here. Let me see. Oh, only 2? That's tough. 8. And I didn't see the other one. All right, so it looks like we're not going to hit a lightning number, but can we just hit a number? Bring me back. I got bills to pay. 5. Wah, wah.
No luck.
Man, we've gone ice cold. I want to go back and listen when we were killing it, because that was a good time. Anyways.
We weren't even excited when numbers were hitting because we were like, oh, that's normal.
No, I think we still screamed every single time. I did, at least.
Not as loudly, but.
No, it definitely got quieter as we went. But anyways, be sure to watch the draft this week, folks. We will probably definitely talk about the draft a lot next week. And I'm thinking I'm going to actually put some effort into doing an NHL NBA recap on the first round. So we will see you guys next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Let's hit some tanks, adore some tutties. See you next week.
Peace.